It's interesting to me to step into that piece thinking about early black and white movies, film noir. I think that was the starting point. I kind of really was thinking about the sort of stereotypical male. What would sexy maleness be? And for me, that would be the guy, the loner, lives out in the woods. He's like totally independent, he's self-reliant, he knows how to wield his weaponry. You know, he's badass. As I'm making that work and tweedling down into these like rabbit holes of detail, he starts to flesh out a lot more in my head. Maybe there's a woman involved. He maybe wasn't all alone. Maybe something happened. But I don't want to be too obvious. So it's like, how can this start to be a film? I'm obsessed with black and white movies. Like, if I'm depressed or whatever, I'm the first one, you know, Haagen-Dazs and like up there with my old movies. There's something magical about the black and white.
The enterprise was slightly illegal. You see, I was the lawyer for the numbers racket. Fuck, an 823.
On the one hand, I want to talk about masculinity in this piece. On the other hand, I think it's more interesting not to. He's kind of feathered and beaded, which is a kind of feminist take. Beads are a way to really, really, really see. Inside everything are these billions of cells. Everything around us is bristling. How do you give a visual experience of that without a microscope? You know, like how can we bring that, you know, to attention? And I've always felt that there's something about applying with careful attention this material. It's a way of seeing more than you're seeing. I think I try to zhuzh up real life. It was in a gallery show, and I was really lucky because a collector acquired it. She's like, really? Oh my God, that's incredible. But they had like this incredible outdoor sculpture garden, and they put it out in their sculpture garden. So people did see it, but like few people saw it. It wasn't open to the public. It was somebody's private thing. 20 years later, the collector donated it to the museum.
I first saw a trailer in 2002 when it was part of the Deitch exhibition. And then when it became a project that Brooklyn might actually add to the collection, I was really quite excited. We first had her come to the museum before we even transported the object here, and gave us sort of a rundown of how she made it, what was important to her, what she wanted to see, and what she wanted to do or focus on when it arrived here. It felt a little daunting at first. We did a preliminary visit to Pound Ridge, where it was installed outdoors for 20-some years. The concern is pests. Is there anything actively living in there that you would want to avoid bringing into the museum? That's the first thought. And the second thought is, how stable is the object in general? Are things falling apart? How will we safely transport the object from where it currently was living to Brooklyn?
There were a lot of things that we were able to take out of the trailer, things that were portable before it even was moved down to the museum. There was a typewriter, there was a ball of twine, there were several rifles, a puma decorative figure. We started to document them and devise a cleaning strategy. There wasn't that much bead loss on these smaller items, but if in the course of transportation and handling them, beads fell off, we would keep those and we tried to adhere them back into place as best as possible.
When we brought it to the museum, it lived in the parking lot for probably about 2 years.
We had to clean the exterior of the trailer, which we vacuumed and just tried to get all the sticks and kind of dirt and dust from the 20 years of it being outside off of the surface. We were able to remove a lot of spider web. There was some evidence that some squirrels maybe had a nest up under the trailer. And then there was some evidence that maybe some mice also were in the trailer. It wasn't anything that we weren't prepared to deal with our shop vac and our other vacuums as well.
You might think, how difficult is it to get a huge trailer that's also really an artwork into the building? It was pretty difficult. We were not 100% sure that we could get it in the building, but with careful measurements, we realized we could take off, I think in the end we took off 3 doors plus their frames, and it literally had an inch to spare when it came into the building. So that's a lot of really good measuring and a little bit of luck, I think, too.
Cleaning the interior of the trailer took 6 weeks and 10 objects conservators. First, we did some vacuuming through a screen so that we didn't disrupt any of the beads to remove some of the larger dirt and leaves and things that were on the surface. And then we painstakingly cleaned every inch of the beaded surface of the trailer with tiny sponges, deionized water, and ethanol. I didn't realize the lamps, they had cords and all the cords are beaded and the little plugs are beaded as well. I never thought about it until we were in the trailer that they were gonna plug into beaded electricity sockets, and it was really cool to see the beaded lamp plug into the beaded socket, and then there was light, and the light dazzled across all of the beaded surfaces, and it was really a good moment.
It feels really good to give it basically a permanent home. I'm so glad that Brooklyn was able to be the museum that gets the trailer.
You take your work and you do it one day at a time, whatever that is, and you care about it, and you care about it so much. And over time, you don't know what will happen. Does a hand reach down from God? No, it doesn't actually work that way. You drag yourself out there and show your work to people and say, hi, I'm this artist and here's this work I do, and you do despair. I mean, it happens. That's what creative life is. It's full of highs and lows. But by gum, 20 years later, here I am sitting on the steps in a major museum for anyone to come and see it. I think it's a kind of triumph, I guess, for all artists when that can happen. I'm really excited for people to come and experience this work.